Continuing on from our previous list, we're here to discuss even more awesome role-playing games that'll be releasing in 2020 and beyond. So without further ado, let's take a look. Baldur's Gate 3. In what's essentially a dream pairing, Divinity Original Sin developer Larian Studios will be working on the next Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate as a series is renowned for its RPG mechanics, character building, and choices, not to mention elevating BioWare, so the fit couldn't be any more perfect. Not a lot has been revealed about Baldur's Gate 3 aside from a lich infestation that must be halted, but it's Larian's biggest game yet and may release by 2021 on Google Stadia and PC. Pathfinder: Wrath of the Righteous. Pathfinder Kingmaker launched with a considerable number of flaws but eventually improved thanks to Owlcat Games' hard work. Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous builds off that foundation, incorporating many of the same classes from Kingmaker while adding several new ones and the new Mythic system for further customization. It also heads to a completely new location, the World Wound, where humans and demons wage war. There's no release date yet, but you can expect it on PC in the next year or two. Werewolf the Apocalypse-EARTHBLOOD. Werewolf the Apocalypse-EARTHBLOOD is set in the same World of Darkness universe as Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. It's developed by Cyanide though, and focuses on the werewolf, Cahal, who's working to take down the Pentex Corporation led by vampires, naturally. Though Cahal can transform into a werewolf and tear foes apart, you'll need his human form to converse with others and sneak around. The game is planned to release in Q2 or Q3 of 2020 for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Diablo 4. Diablo is back and darker than ever, this time placing Lilith as the big bad to slay. Diablo 4 is set several years after the events of the third game. New slayers will arise, including returning classes like the Druid, and gameplay systems will be more akin to Diablo 2 with rune words and skill trees. With social hubs, world events, tons of dungeons, and a new approach to ancient items, we'll be hearing a lot more about Diablo 4 in the coming days. World of Warcraft: Shadowlands. The world may be obsessed with Classic, but World of Warcraft's main game is moving forward with Shadowlands. Taking place in Azeroth's Realm of the Dead, Shadowlands will feature covenants in the new zones, each with a unique campaign, gear, and abilities. Along with new dungeons and raids, players can also expect a level squish, a new starting experience on Exile's Reach, and a new roguelike dungeon called the Tower of the Damned. The expansion is out in 2020 for PC, with a release date yet to be confirmed. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles isn't the first game to come to mind when you think of GameCube classics. Nevertheless, it's a solid RPG with chain combos, spell fusing, and challenges dictating progression as opposed to experience points. The remastered version features improved visuals, new music, and some rearranged tunes, voice acting, and cross-save between PS4, Nintendo Switch, iOS, and Android when it arrives in summer of 2020. The Legend of Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel 4 End of Saga. The third game in Falcom's Cold Steel arc has been localized in the West for PS4 and will be coming to Nintendo Switch next year. So while the developer is busy working on a brand new Trails game, it stands to reason that The Legend of Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel 4 could come to the West as well. Whether it'll be next year or not remains to be seen, but it's the end of the saga as the title indicates. Just make it happen. Fairy Tail RPG. Popular manga and anime series Fairy Tail is getting its own RPG courtesy of Koei Timo. Featuring 10 playable characters, each with their own questline and side quests, series favorites like Natsu, Gray, Lucy, and Urza will all appear. You'll create parties and partake in command-based battles, with the story requiring about 30 hours to complete. Fairy Tail releases on March 19th, 2020 for PS4, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Minecraft Dungeons. Mahjong's sandbox epic comes to the isometric dungeon crawling space. While Minecraft Dungeons seems fairly Diablo-esque in terms of combat, the loot is streamlined as characters can use any weapon or piece of armor. Along with different weapons, players will have enchantments for different effects. They'll take on a variety of classic Minecraft enemies either solo or in co-op across randomly generated dungeons. Minecraft Dungeons arrives in April 2020 for Xbox One, PS4, PC, and Nintendo Switch. GRIFTLANDS. GRIFTLANDS is a strange title, originally beginning as an open-world RPG with turn-based combat. However, it's now a roguelike card battler with role-playing elements. You'll still choose from different characters, but the world, events, and missions are now procedurally generated. Aside from card-based battles, players can also use cards for negotiations to wear an opponent's resolve down. GRIFTLANDS is currently in early access and will fully launch in Q4 2020. CRISTALES. This charming and gorgeous-looking RPG has been in development for a while and recently highlighted at the PC Gaming Show 2019. It sees a young girl, Cristal, gaining the ability to see the past, present, and future all at once. Using time travel, she can effectively change the outcome of events, which also segues into combat. Throwing water on an enemy shield and advancing time will make it rust, for instance. Time travel gimmicks aside, CRISTALES promises a lengthy adventure inspired by Japanese RPGs, as Cristal journeys to defeat the Time Empress. CRISTALES is planned to release in 2020 for Xbox One, PS4, Nintendo Switch, and PC. King's Bounty 2. Before there was Heroes of Might and Magic, there was King's Bounty. However, like its successor, the King's Bounty series has been fairly dormant, until the announcement of King's Bounty 2 by 1C Entertainment. One of 3 heroes can be chosen to explore the land of Antera, mingling with locals and taking on missions while combat shifts to a turn-based tactical setting. Players will face tough choices and have the freedom to choose which alignment their hero goes with, be it Order or Anarchy. King's Bounty 2 is currently slated for a 2020 release on PC. System Shock 3. System Shock finally returns courtesy of Other Side Entertainment with series veteran Warren Spector at the helm. Taking place after the end of the second game, System Shock 3 will feature the return of Shodan and a deeper dive into her motivations. Darkest Dungeon 2. Ruin has come to our family once more, except this time the suffering goes outside of the hamlet. The sequel to Red Hook Studios' punishing dungeon crawler will feature returning classes like the Grave Robber, Leper, Plague Doctor, and Helion, but the metagame is changing up completely. Aside from the sequel being more about a grueling journey rather than tending to one's estate, Darkest Dungeon 2 will launch into early access first. More details will hopefully follow in the coming year. Elden Ring. Game of Thrones writer George R.R. Martin teams with Soulsborne creator Hidetaka Miyazaki. Did anyone think we'd see the day? Unlike Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, Elden Ring is more dark fantasy with elements like horseback riding and even combat added. There will be larger areas in the open world, ruins to explore, and secrets to unravel. A release date is unknown, but we do know that it's coming to Xbox One, PS4, and PC. And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from GamingBolt, please hit the subscribe button. Also, don't forget to switch on the notifications bell icon next to it. That way you'll never miss any of our videos. Thanks for watching.